Okay, I'd like to welcome everybody today to the Owensboro Board of Commissioners regular meeting, May 7, 2019. At this time, we will ask City Clerk Beth Cecil to please call the roll.
Commissioner Jeff Sanford.
Here.
Commissioner Larry Conder.
Here.
Mayor Tom Watson.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Larry Magliner.
Here.
Commissioner Pam Smith-Wright.
Here.
Thank you, Beth. At this time, item number 3, invocation and pledge. We'll ask Commissioner Jeff Sanford to lead us in that. Please stand.
Please bow your heads and pray with me. Dear Heavenly Father, as we gather here today at this meeting, we ask that you will be in our midst. Help us make decisions that will be pleasing to you. Help us be able to discuss the matters at hand in a reasonable way. Let us pray for Steve Lynn, our city attorney, while he heals from an illness. God, let this meeting be productive, and as we do the people's business, help us keep you in the forefront of our minds as we do the work set before us. In these things we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Jeff.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the next item on the agenda are some presentations, so they'll allow me to get out front. Start. I see it. Okay. This time, would Mr. Brian Hartz please come forward? Huh? Byron? What'd I say? I said, it says B-R-Y-B-Y-R, Brian. Okay, come on up here. I think we've decided to, you got a speech?
Yeah, I can make a speech if you like.
Okay. We want to commend you for your service to the city of Owensboro with this Mayor's Certificate of Appreciation, celebrating 20 years of continuing service to the city of Owensboro this May the 7th, 2019. Congratulations, my friend.
Thank you.
You can go to the podium and speak if you want. You sure?
Yeah, I do a filibuster.
That's okay. I got the hammer. Go ahead. Thank you. You want to talk?
Go ahead, Mayor. Oh, no, Mayor.
Oh, picture.
Picture.
$5.
All right.
Wait a minute. Barbara said take the glasses off. 10, 20 years. Good job.
All right.
I got shoes that old, just in case you know, 20 years. Congratulations. At this time, I would like to do a proclamation for River Valley Behavioral Health. City of Owensboro does present this proclamation, whereas mental health is essential to everyone's overall health and well-being, and whereas all Americans experience times of difficulty and stress in their lives, and whereas the prevention is an effective way to reduce the burden of mental health conditions, and whereas there is a strong research that work-life balance, humor, spirituality, religion, recreation, social connections, and animal companionship can help all Americans protect their health and well-being. And whereas mental health conditions are real and prevalent in our nation, and whereas with effective treatment, those individuals with mental health and other clinical health conditions can recover and lead full, productive lives. Whereas each business, school, government agency, healthcare provider, organization, family, and citizen shares the burden of mental health problems and has a responsibility to promote mental wellness and support prevention and recovery efforts. Now, therefore, I, Thomas Hart Watson, Mayor of the City of Owensboro, do hereby proclaim May 2019 as Mental Health Month in Owensboro, and I call upon all citizens, government agencies, public and private institutions, businesses, and schools to recommit our community to increasing awareness and understanding of mental health and the steps our citizens can take to protect their mental health, and the need for appropriate and accessible services for all people with mental health conditions. Signed and sealed this 7th day of May, 2019. So, Jamie Johnson, front and center. Can I hear a little clapping now, or what? You know that. How are you?
Doing well. How are you? I'm Jamie.
I'm Dr. Lionel Phelps.
Oh. Congratulations, you will come and be sweet if you like. Sure. No big deal.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Thank you. Okay. All right. The next item is a proclamation for National Small Business Week. There's no one here to receive this. Tony, you want to receive it on their behalf? Okay. Whereas America, oops, get my cheaters on. I'm gonna have to make this font a little bigger. Whereas Americans' progress has been driven by pioneers who think big, take risks, and work hard. And whereas from the storefront shops that anchor Main Street to the high-tech startups that keep America on the cutting edge, small businesses are the backbone of our economy and the cornerstones of our nation's promise. Whereas small business owners and Main Street businesses have energy and passion for what they do. And whereas when we support small businesses, jobs are created and local communities preserve their unique culture. And whereas because this country's 30 million small businesses create nearly 2 out of every 3 jobs in our community, we cannot resolve ourselves to create jobs and spur economic growth in America without discussing ways to support our entrepreneurs. And whereas the President of the United States has proclaimed National Small Business Week every year since 1963 to highlight the programs and services available to entrepreneurs through the U.S. Small Business Administration and other government agencies. And whereas Owensboro supports and joins this national effort to help America's small businesses do what they do best, grow their businesses, create jobs, and ensure that our communities remain vibrant tomorrow as they are today. Therefore, I, Thomas Hart Watson, Mayor of the City of Owensboro, do hereby proclaim May 5 through May 11 as 2019 as Small Business Week in the Commonwealth of Kentucky, and encourage all citizens to join me in this observance. Okay, clap. I think someone's going to come and pick it up. Is that right, Mr. Huh, Tony? You're going to mail it to him. Too bad, Tony. Okay. Oh, you're going to accept this one. Okay. Okay, this is a proclamation for the 50th anniversary of Municipal Clerks Week. Whereas the office of Municipal Clerk, a time-honored and vital part of local government, exists throughout the world. And whereas the office of Municipal Clerk is the oldest among public servants, and whereas the office of the Municipal Clerk provides the professional link between the citizens, the local governing bodies, and the agencies of government at other levels, and whereas municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality and impartiality, rendering equal service to all, whereas the municipal clerk serves as the information center of functions of local government and community, and whereas municipal clerks continually strive to improve the administration of the affairs of the office of municipal clerk through participation in education programs, seminars, workshops, the annual meetings of their state, provincial, county, and international professional organizations. And whereas it is most appropriate that we recognize the accomplishment of the office of municipal clerk, therefore I, Thomas Hart Watson, Mayor of the City of Owensboro, do hereby proclaim May 5 through May 11 as Municipal Clerk Week. In the City of Owensboro, and further extend appreciation to our municipal clerk, Beth Cecil, and to all municipal clerks for the vital services they perform and their exemplary dedication to the community they represent. Signed and sealed this 7th day of May, 2019. So you're going to come out and take a picture? Okay.
getting ready to do a whole lot.
Okay. All right, item number 5 on the agenda is consider approval of minutes April 9, 2019, April 16, 2019, April 23, 2019, April 24, 2019, and May 1st, 2019. I'll make a motion to approve. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Any discussion on the approval of the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Item 6, second reading on ordinance 6A. Ms. Cecil, Municipal Clerk.
Okay. Ordinance 4-2019, an ordinance providing for the defeasance of a portion of the outstanding electric light and power system revenue bonds, taxable 2010 A series of the City of Owensboro, Kentucky. Publicly read for approval on second reading the 7th day of May, 2019.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve. Could I have a second, please?
So moved.
Anybody like to discuss? Okay. Here, we'll have a roll call vote. Cecil.
Commissioner Sanford,
Yes.
Commissioner Condor,
Yes.
Mayor Watson,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Magliner,
Yes.
Commissioner Smithroyd.
Aye.
Thank you. Item 6B.
Ordinance 5-2019, an ordinance amending Section 26-82 of Article 4 of Chapter 26 of the Owensboro Municipal Code entitled Electric Utility and approving and adopting rates for electric service furnished by the City Utility Commission, the City of Owensboro, Kentucky. Publicly read for approval on second reading the 7th day of May, 2019.
I'll make a motion to approve. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
We discussed this on the first reading, so any other discussion from the dais? Hearing none, could we please have a roll call vote? Public comment? Make it quick.
James Lacey Camiff, 1119 Penbrook, Apartment 4, Owensboro, Kentucky. God bless America, United States of America, State of Kentucky, and Owensboro as well. Of course, I'm against the base rate increase. As I've said last time, I won't repeat that. On the premise, I will say this, that it will make it more expensive for people to install solar if we don't change things. This base rate will have to be paid for anybody that wants to be connected to OMU. But I was reading, I know I can't directly ask individuals in the room questions, but I'll direct my question to you, Mayor, then. There was an article in the paper that mentioned that the solar, there was parts of this ordinance that I believe have solar implications, like commercial solar and even down to the residential area. And I think OMU formally changed some of their solar stipulation, or what is going to be allowed and what is not going to be allowed. And reading the article in the paper, I didn't understand it, and of course I attend quite a few OMU meetings, so I don't know if something pertinent to solar installation in this community has been changed or not by OMU. So that is my question. Do you know?
Is that your only question?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Thank
Would someone from OMU like to address that, please? How's that?
Yes, thank you.
Kevin Frizzell, 11710 Fields Road, South Utica. I'm the general manager for OMU. We did not materially change anything in our renewable rate, our solar net metering. We changed the language in there to allow for the shutdown of Elmer Smith Station. Right now, the credit that the folks that are on the net metering rate gets is strictly calculated based on avoided generation costs at Elmer Smith. As we know, we're going into a shutdown of that plant, and shortly, a little over a year from now, we'll be on a purchase power agreement. So we changed the language to allow that credit to also include credit for power that we don't have to buy under the purchase power agreement. So it effectively doesn't change anything from our rate. We did not change, but we had to allow that. Otherwise, the credit would, when Elmer Smith shuts down, there would be no credit. So that was a change that we made.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Anybody else from the public? Roll call.
Commissioner Condor,
Yes.
Mayor Watson,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Magliner,
Yes.
Commissioner Smithwright.
Aye.
Commissioner Sanford.
Yes.
Thank you. Item 6C, please.
Ordinance 6-2019, an ordinance approving and adopting text amendments to Appendix F, Articles 3, 8, 14, 20, and 22 of the Owensboro Metropolitan Zoning Ordinance for the cities of Owensboro and Whitesville and Davis County, publicly read for approval on second reading the 7th day of May, 2019.
Thank you. I'll make a motion to approve. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
We discussed this last meeting. Any other discussion from the dais? Anybody from the public? Hearing none, we will have roll call.
Mayor Watson,
Here. Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Magliner,
Yes.
Commissioner Smithwright.
Aye.
Commissioner Sanford.
Yes.
Commissioner Condor.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, item number 7, ordinance first reading, will be no vote. 7A, Ms. Cecil.
Ordinance 8-2019, an ordinance closing and abandoning a portion of an alley right-of-way between 1121 Mosley Street and 416 East 11th Street in the city of Owensboro, Kentucky, at the request of Hayden Development, LLC, introduced and publicly read on first reading the 7th day of May, 2019.
Okay, any discussion from the dais? Commissioner Condor.
Thank you, Mayor. City Manager Pagan, would you happen to know if this abandonment of this alley, is there any development that may be going along with that, or is it just simply abandoning the alleyway and they're done? Are there any future plans? Let's put it that way.
City Manager?
Yeah, I believe, thank you, Mayor. I believe the property is being marketed for potential development. I'm not aware of any proposed development at this time, but it is on the market.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. Okay, we'll go to item 8, which is municipal order 8A. Ms. Cecil.
Municipal Order 9-2019, a municipal order authorizing and directing the mayor to execute an application for a fiscal year 2019 competitive grant through the Kentucky 911 Service Boards in an amount not to exceed $35,000, the proceeds of which will be utilized by the City of Owensboro to purchase an interface to communicate between the CAD and the necessary software for use by the Owensboro-Davis County Centralized 911 Communications Center, a 10% match being required by the city. Introduced and publicly read for approval this 7th day of May, 2019.
Thank you. I'll make a motion to approve. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Any discussion? Paul, from the dais? Mr. Nave, do you have anything to add? We have no questions. No question.
I've got 2 more items, so I was just waiting.
Okay, hang loose. Okay, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Item 8B.
Municipal Order 10-2019, a municipal order authorizing and directing the mayor to execute an application for a fiscal year 2019 competitive grant through the Kentucky 911 Service Boards in an approximate amount not to exceed $30,307.50, the proceeds of which will be utilized by the City of Owensboro to purchase radio console equipment for use by the Owensboro-Davis County Centralized 911 Communications Center, a 10% match being required by the city. Introduced and publicly read for approval the 7th day of May, 2019.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Any discussion from the dais? Question? Commissioner Smith-Wright.
Yes, thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome.
Do we do this every year?
For grants, yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right, because it seems like I've,
It's required that we do that.
yeah, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Item 8C, please.
Municipal Order 11-2019, a municipal order authorizing and directing the mayor to execute an application for a fiscal year 2019 competitive grant through the Kentucky 911 Service Boards in an approximate amount not to exceed $12,434, the proceeds of which will be utilized by the City of Owensboro to purchase Spectracom net clock equipment for use by the Owensboro-Davis County Centralized 911 Communications Center, a 10% match being required by the city. Introduced and publicly read for approval the 7th day of May, 2019.
Thank you. I'll make a motion to approve. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Any discussion? Any questions for Paul? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Item 8D, please.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
Municipal Order 12-2019, a municipal order approving the 2019-2020 Annual Action Plan for Community Development Block Grant and Home Investment Partnership Funds, prepared by the Community Development Department, and authorizing and directing the mayor to execute same. Introduced and publicly read for approval the 7th day of May, 2019.
Okay, I'd like to call on Abby Shelton, Department of One. I think she has a PowerPoint presentation.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. I do, and I will make it a very concise presentation. This is a culmination of about a few months of preparation leading into 5 years. We're heading towards the end of our 2020 end of the consolidated plan that we've been working on in the Triplet Twist area. So I'm going to explain to you a little bit about what we do and to the people at home about how we use our funds and what we're going to use our funds for next year. So we enjoy a rich partnership with Habitat for Humanity, and we have several new builds that we've been working on with them. This past year we completed one at 1700 West 4th Street, 2610 Cravens Avenue, and they are currently putting, I believe, trusses up at 1405 Jackson Street. We do give them a small grant for each house, which they do a very good job at building affordable housing for us. So Triplet Twist is where the bulk of our funds have gone in the past year. I'll do a quick recap of that. Our total projected budget for that entire area was about 1.6 in public and 3.1 million in private, and a total of 4.7 to date. We are at 5.3 million invested, which we also have a large, hopefully a major private development that will be coming the next year. Current projects in the Triplet Twist area include existing homeowner exterior rehab. We have 44 projects completed there and or in the pipeline. Business facade exterior rehab, 37 projects have been completed. First-time homebuyer down payment assistance program, 2 projects completed, and that's where we provide a match for a grant for $5,000 down payment assistance and our closing costs. We have our first-time homebuyer program, which we have 1 new build over on 20th Street, and we also will have 1 more on Hathaway Street. And then coming up this year, we will complete our landscaping and sign beautification. And then RWRA has been a great partner completing a downspout removal program. When the slide was completed, 31 homes had been done, but we just got another invoice for 29 more. So that's been fruitful, and that will help the harsh ditch project that was completed over there. So that's the current Triplet Twist project map between 9th and 24th Streets on the north and south boundaries, and then between Breckenridge and Triplet, including, of course, the Colonial Court area and a little bit of the industrial side to the commercial side to the north of that. Some of the projects we've completed, homeowners have taken advantage of the matching grant. Of course, the matching grant has been on a sliding scale, so the less you make, the less you pay, of course. Up to $15,000. So this is a home on Colonial Court. Before and after, people are getting new siding, new roof, and of course, keeping with historic preservation, we want to make sure that we keep the integrity of the homes as well. This is on Pearl Street. We dressed the house up a little bit, made it a little more friendly and not as stark, and reinstalled windows. This one's on 21st Street, and actually the house next door to it is now for sale, and so is the other one, and they both have been fixed up with private funds. So they're both on the market and being sold. Of course, we've got the slow-moving Gabe Shopping Center. We've had a few snags with the facade wall. Actually, we cannot hang the canopies because we have to reattach the wall back to the building. So we're going to re-engineer some of that design and bring it back up to speed with the rest of Owensboro, hopefully, and we can dress up that area. That will hopefully be done by the end of the summer. As I said, we have our triplet twist landscape and design installation that will be going on this upcoming summer, hopefully into next spring. We have about 3 or 4 signs that we're going to install that we've gotten permission to do so on private property, and they will maintain those as needed. Those are the downspout sites that we've completed thus far, and we're, like I said, RWRA has been a great partner, and we're very pleased with that program as well. And it for the price that we paid, we got a bang for our buck. Included also in the action plan this year is our Section 108 loan guarantee program, which allows us to utilize our CDBG funds to pay back our loan from the government of 5 times our allocation. And what that does is allow us to tackle larger projects, of course using the same CDBG guidelines. And the federal government underwrites those funds and takes care of managing that loan for us. We can use our CDBG allocation and our private funds to pay back those loans as well. Some of the advantages, like I mentioned, is that you can pay as you go. We can look at bless you, Mayor. We can look at a 20-year spread on our money, and of course this creates $5 of public funding for every dollar we receive, or more private as well. Bless you. So we also have a startup with our Community Housing Development Organization, or as we refer to, our CHODO. A CHODO's a housing development organization that's private, nonprofit, community-based, and we basically follow the home guidelines for the funding that we receive through HUD. PJs must set aside a minimum of 15% of each of their annual home allocation for home buyer or rental housing which is owned, developed, or sponsored by a certified CHODO. PJs must ensure these funds are used for specific housing projects and cultivate a pipeline of projects ready for future funding. So just as the City of Owensboro provides a revolving loan for some of the housing projects that we do, there's a match that is done. So say yes, sir, do you have a question?
Everybody's wondering, what's PJs mean?
I'm sorry, participating jurisdiction.
Thank you.
Yes, a participating jurisdiction. We are considered a PJ by HUD terms because we are an entitlement community, so we abide by the rules of HUD. There you go. Those are not fun clothes that we wear on in the morning. So basically what we do is we designate a CHODO, just like we use the City of Owensboro, and we have a revolving loan that when we build a house, we put some city funds into it, we put some home funds into it, and then once the house is sold, the loan comes back to the city, and then we can keep using those funds to maximize that progress. And so that's what we would do with a CHODO. We have several area leaders on our CHODO, which is called Owensboro Area Affordable Housing Solutions, Inc. David Ross, Richard Stallings, Shauna Boom, Barbara Moyer, Rick Searcy, Karen Getty, Tish Korea Osborne, and Rita Mormon. These are all well-involved service providers within our community that have the pulse of what our social service needs are. We do have, outside of the Triplet Twist area, which some of our home funds will be used to spotlight and build new homes. At 1420 Jackson Street, that was the before picture. Obviously, we were donated 2 lots. We combined those and then built a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house on it, and that's a pretty current picture. We'll be looking at pouring the porch and the rest of the back driveway and doing finish grade and all that fun stuff, and hopefully we'll be closing with a new owner who is very eager. I think I have somebody that's very eager to purchase this, so we'll see how that turns out. Home funding, just to give you an idea, we use our CHODO set aside, which is from 2016, 2017, and 2018. So we use those funds and then extra home funds as needed. And then, of course, our loan from the city for a $182,000 home, which we will sell at a very subsidized cost of probably around $85,000 to $90,000, depending on what the home appraises for in that area. Of course, the objective is to minimally raise the property values in the areas that we work in. We do have a potential project across the street at 1421 that we are working on. So we're biting away on that street with Habitat for Humanity as well as us, and then other people have gone ahead and demolished lighted structures. So people ask, why do we do the projects we do? Well, for instance, in the Triplet Twist area, I did a preliminary scan of pulling down numbers of what the exempt values were: industrial, public, vacant land, single family, multifamily. And if you can see in the 2014 PVA values, the total was 176 million. And in 2019, it's now 180 million. So looking through and trying to figure out, well, what was the driver, what was the benefit, and whose property values went up. Well, a lot of these properties have either been sold or just reassessed, and of course, reassessment will push the property values up. But a lot of those homes have been sold or changed hands, so it's people seeing a nice time to sell, I suppose, and taking advantage of that. I did include world changers. They may be called Kentucky changers, but we don't know. I've not spoken to the Davis McLean Baptist Association as of yet, but they're excited about a partnership with Kentucky changers, and hopefully we can re-implement that program, because I know I've had a lot of calls about participants wanting to take advantage of that program, where we provide money for material and then they come in and do the labor for free. So we have these 3 reports that we submit to HUD. 2 of them are for every year, and the consolidated plan is a 5-year report. This is the annual action plan, which we must submit, approving the funding that we receive and telling the public what we're going to do with it. So we have community development block grant funds and home investment partnership program funds. And the annual action plan takes what I just presented to you. It's a reiteration of basically what we've been doing for the past 5 years and into the next year. Summary of the annual objectives and proposed accomplishments for the year, and the proposed method of distributing funds, which we have certain programs that we implement, like the existing housing rehab program, business facade rehab program. And then, of course, required HUD certifications, anti-lobbying, and all that fun stuff. We don't take bribes. Okay, so action plan overview. You can see, of course, our federal funding has been on a downward decline, and it's kind of held steady these past few years. But this year, we did get our word of what our federal funding is supposed to be, and it's around $455,000, which it's a nice increase for us. I hope that we will be able to do a really good job in closing down Triplet Twist and putting good money into that area. Of course, we're going to focus on the same programs that we're doing. And then, of course, we received our home allocation as well. So it's pretty steady. And I'm hoping that we can get at least 2 more homes out of this next year. So, action plan overview. CDBG program. We strive to provide decent housing, suitable living environment, and expand economic opportunities, which with CDBG funds, we're able to do a lot more than we are with home funding. So, pretty much if you give us a project, we'll try to make it fit within the purview of what those funding, rules are. Our national objectives. There are 3 objectives that we have to eligible activities we have to abide by: providing a benefit to low and moderate income person, aiding in the prevention or elimination of slums and or blight, and addressing an urgent need. So if we were to have a disaster, we could use those funds for anything that we could possibly foresee. I'm not going to go into all these details, but basically what our action plan says is we're going to work with the community to decrease unsound housing, work with social service agencies to better fit the needs of what transitional housing needs may be out there as far as the low income, and also create more affordable housing in the community. And we would not be able to do what we do at the city. I think I can speak for a lot of the departments, including myself, without the great partnerships we have throughout the community. This is interesting. We did get the 2019 income limits were released recently, and I think it's a pretty good indicator of how our economy has not only grown nationally but locally. And if you'll see at that very bottom number, which I can't see it, so I'm going to turn to it, for a household income, and these are the income limits we use to verify if somebody qualifies for one of our programs. For one person household income, 80% of the median income, or the area median income, was $31,000 in 2017, and this year it's $38,400. So that's for the historic data that we have, that's quite an increase in the past 2 years, because it has actually decreased in the 10 years I've been here. So that's my show. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you. Have any questions from the dais?
I have a comment.
You got a comment. Go for it.
I can see what you've done, Abby, and it does make a difference because I am in the business of real estate. And when you do fix one up, it does make a big difference to the surrounding area. And I have seen the homes, the prices that we're getting out there, they're rising. And so what you're doing is making a difference, and I appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate the comment.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome, Jeff. Anybody else? Thank you, Ms. Shelton, Department of One. Okay, I'll make a motion to approve. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Any more discussion? Anybody from the public? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Okay, item 8E, Ms. Cecil.
Municipal Order 13-2019, a municipal order approving the conveyance to the City of Owensboro of a 1/3 portion of property owned by the Davis County Fiscal Court containing 30.897 acres and located at 3300 Carter Road, and further authorizing the mayor to execute a deed transferring the property to Riverfront Forward, LLC, in accordance with KRS 82.083, subsection 4, introduced and publicly read for approval the 7th day of May, 2019.
Thank you. I'll make a motion to approve. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
I'd like the city manager to expound on this a little bit, please.
Yes, be happy to, Mayor. Thank you. As you know, the air park property is typically held 1/3 by the city, 1/3 by the county, 1/3 by the industrial foundation. At a recent meeting, the commission authorized the sale of our share of a site in the air park. This municipal order receives from the county their share in the same property and then authorizes it to be sold to the same buyer. As we mentioned recently on another transaction, it's much easier for the county to buy and sell property directly to another government entity, us, than a private entity or a private business. So in effect, this authorizes us to act as a conduit for the county share, and it does not change the financial implications of the transaction.
Thank you. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Thank you. Good job, Ms. Cecil. Item 9, city manager items. City manager.
Yes, sir, Mayor. We do have a few personnel appointments today. Stephen Mayfield, probationary full-time non-civil service appointment to laborer maintenance helper with Public Works, effective May 13th. Hunter Rowe, probationary full-time non-civil service appointment to laborer maintenance helper with Public Works, effective May 13th. Joan Fetter, probationary full-time non-civil service appointment to telecommunicator, effective May 27th. And Chad Clark, probationary full-time non-civil service promotional appointment to construction inspector with engineering department, effective May 12th.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Item 9B, city manager comments.
No additional comments tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Communication from elected officials. Commissioner Sanford.
Nothing this evening, Mayor.
Commissioner Condor.
Just one little item. The Green River Asset Building Coalition will have their annual dinner this coming week, and just for the public's information, they served over 5,500 families within the Green River, within the Grad area, in helping them with their income taxes, educating, getting refunds faster, doing it for them for free, and helping. So I want to make sure that the public understands they did a great job with all the families that just need a little bit of help. And I appreciate everything that they've done. Barbecue Festival this weekend. Everybody be safe. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. Commissioner Smith-Wright.
Nothing. Thank you.
You're welcome. Commissioner Mayor Pro Tem Larry Maglinger.
Nothing at this time, thank you.
Okay, and I have nothing. Okay, item 11, open public forum. Members of the audience are invited to address the City Commission on any matter of public concern that was not on tonight's agenda. Comments are limited to issues within the scope and responsibility of this commission. Commission meetings are held to conduct city business for the benefit of Owensboro citizens and taxpayers. At this time, anyone who wishes to address the City Commission, please make their way to the podium to be recognized. Speakers must state their name and address for the record, clerk's record. Limit the remarks to 3 minutes or less. Since the item is not on the agenda, no response is required from city staff or the commission. The mayor reserves the right to extend the time to the speaker. Yes, sir.
Good evening, Mayor.
Good evening.
Commissioners and distinguished guests. And just had a safety issue. I'm Mike Johnson, 111 Sycamore Street, Owensboro, Kentucky. As a citizen and a concerned citizen, along with parents of Owensboro City, about the safety on the Frederica Street crossing of children. There have been a couple of incidents on Frederica Street. You may know of it. A couple of kids got hit crossing the four-lane highway there on Frederica Street. And I would suggest in safety, if we could, the solar crossing sign system, if it could be done to light, to be illuminated, also with Braille push buttons so the kids can press that button. It'll flash, you know, that they're going to cross the street there. Thank God that, no kid has been seriously injured, but this is a safety issue. As anybody can go down Frederica, you can see by the public school system, Owensboro High School, there's one light there, and it just flashes when school's out, and that's it. There's nothing flashing for them to walk across the street, so I present that to you to look at, if you can.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you,
We're certainly interested in safety, and we'll have staff take a look at that. Thank you, sir. Anybody else? Tim? Good. Okay. This time, I would make a motion to enter into closed session. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, we're going to consider a closed session under KRS 61. Is that right? Well, 61.8101C to discuss proposed or pending litigation. There will not be any business following the closed session. Is that okay, Austin? Okay. So consider us going into closed session. Thank you all for coming. Be safe.